Yo, what's happening, people? It's Ramsey here with your preview to Manchester City versus Arsenal at the Etihad. Let's get into it. Yes, I'm going to preview Man City versus Arsenal at the Etihad this week. It's been a while since I spoke to you guys, a couple of weeks. We've had an international break. We've had the close of the summer transfer window. And it's time to party. We've signed Thomas Partey, £45 million from Atletico. As we spoke about on the podcast and in the other videos we've done in that transfer window week. Yep, the deal's done. We've completed it. It's been a mad week. We've had Guendouzi go out on loan to Hertha Berlin. We've had Gunnasaurus made redundant. We've had Ozil lift out the Europa League squad. It's been a mad couple of weeks. But we're here. We're back. We're back for a preview of another game. And as I said, it's Man City this week. And some are saying it can't come at a better time. It can't come at a better time. And why? Because there's no Kevin De Bruyne. Now, I don't like to laugh at a man being injured. I don't like to be happy that another man's injured. And the reality is I hope he does come back soon. Just not soon enough for this game. Hope he comes back fresh for the Champions League game against Porto. Or fresh for the Premier League game next against West Ham. But listen, for us to not play against this guy, he's been absolutely tearing us apart for years. I remember at the Emirates last year, he was man of the match, should have had a hat-trick apart from Bernd Leno's world-class save, scored in the first few minutes. The game before that, the year before at the Emirates, in the snow, he destroyed us, him and Bernardo Silva. I mean, listen, man, he's going to be a massive loss. He's the best midfielder in the world, in my opinion. He's the best player at Man City by far. He's great. He's so good, and I'm so glad that he's not going to play. Now, the problem is that it'll be a little bit awkward if we can't beat them without Kevin De Bruyne. But also, listen, they're missing Sergio Aguero and Gabriel Jesus. Now, we know Gabriel Jesus probably, Pep was saying he could play him, but if he does, then it could flare up and become a longer-term injury. So I don't think he'll be risked. In fact, the person most likely to play will be Sergio Aguero, back in training this week for Man City. Says he feels good, feels ready to play. Pep said he's liked how he's been in training so far. Apparently he scored in midweek in a little reserve game. But I'd be very surprised if he starts. I'd be very surprised. After being out for a few months, I'd be very surprised for him to go straight back in. I'd imagine, though, he may be on the bench, especially with the squad being a bit thin at the moment. With the injuries, he may be on the bench. But yeah, nevertheless, man, it's a great time to play Man City. It's a great time to play them. No crowd, of course, but could be any other day, couldn't it? At the Etihad. It's going to be tough because they got a good squad, and we're not going to force ourselves to believe that something that may not actually happen. We went there last year and got last season, first game back after the pandemic, and David Luiz had a disaster class, quite frankly. Conceded 3 goals, went down to 10 men, could have been worse. Lucky to get away with a 3-0 loss. So yeah, we need to just turn that around. And some will say we did. Some will say we did. The FA Cup a few weeks later, beat them 2-0 comfortably. Aubameyang with 2 goals there. It was a very, very good win and a good revenge win, I'd say. But now, it's the league. We haven't won in Man City since a Santi Cazorla masterclass. Talking about 5 years ago now. Something like that. Him and Giroud linked up brilliantly to get the goals for us then. So I'm hoping, man, I'm really hoping that we get the 3 points this week. It'll be massive. Not just for the rivalry between us of losing a lot, but, we haven't won away from home since, I think, that game. It's been a few years since we won away from home against a top 6 club. And we also need to prove to the Premier League that we're here and we're fighting for the top 4. As much as I'm not quite sure if we will get top 4, we need to show fight and we need to believe that we can get there. And these are the games that you think, you know what, if you do manage to beat a Man City, no matter what players they have available, going forward in the next week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and if we can pick up some wins elsewhere, just looks healthier for us, just looks better for us. So yeah, I'm obviously hoping that we go there and try and get the 3 points. If any time you're going to play against Man City, this is going to be it, man, and try and beat them. So they may have a Sterling and a Mahrez and all the other brilliant players, but without KDB, could the engine just be a little bit more shaken in there? And in terms of us, Arsenal team news, the big one really is about Kieran Tierney. All the players have come back relatively fit from the international break. Of course, as I said, Thomas Partey, and he played for Ghana in midweek. He's now back, done his interviews, and he looks like he's very happy to be here. But yeah, so basically Tierney's teammate Armstrong, who plays for Southampton, I think they were rooming together with Christie, and they were playing obviously games like playing on the PlayStation or whatever it was in the room together. Then Armstrong tested positive for coronavirus, COVID-19, and obviously with Tierney being in close proximity to him the whole time, he had to self-isolate, which he'd done. He then had another test, which came back his test at the time came back negative. And I believe we're waiting on results of another test, which may not come out until after the Man City game. But he has been self-isolating since. But don't think he's had the full 10 days, and I think that's the issue. Because he hasn't isolated the whole 10 days and the other result hasn't come back. In the Premier League are saying that I think actually the dispute is between the Scottish FA, because he was within the Scotland squad at the time, whether he can come out of isolation to play for Arsenal this weekend. Arsenal are hopeful. The way Arteta spoke at the press conference, he was hopeful that Tierney will be able to play, but at the moment we're not 100% sure. We're just hopeful on that. Waiting for team news from Arsenal to come out. So maybe by the time we see this, he will have been announced as fully fit to play. So that's the only sort of worry that we have at the moment. We'll see. Hopefully he does. But obviously as well with that, he's been in isolation, so he hasn't been able to train. So we don't know how ready he is for the game. Is he match fit? Will he be able to play? Will he be on the bench? And also he's had antibodies in his body, so it looks like when we've now found out that he did actually suffer from COVID-19 in the summer, has antibodies, so is less likely to obviously get it again and pass it on. Hopefully he passes that, and hopefully he does. He's able to play. So I'll go straight into, I see no other injuries, so I'll go straight into the team news and the team that I think Arteta will go with. I'm going to go with Leno in goal. I think that's quite straightforward. Been good this season. As I said, confirmed his place as number one with Martinez leaving. 3 at the back. I'm going to go with Holding, Luiz and Gabriel, just because I don't know if Tierney's going to be match fit. And obviously we don't know if he is going to be able to play. So I'm going to predict with with Holding, Luiz, Gabriel. I think Arteta's been able to work with them. None of them were on international break over the past couple of weeks. So Arteta's probably had a couple of weeks with them three, especially just to work on the team that he wants to play with. Bellerin as well, not playing international football as well. So I think he'll go straight in at right back, right wing back. And obviously left wing back, we have had international players play with both Maitland-Niles and Saka being away with England. Maitland-Niles got less minutes because he only had half an hour before he was taken off after Maguire's red card. So I think Maitland-Niles will come straight back in at left wing back. I think he was very good against Man City in the FA Cup. Wasn't an assist, but I think Tierney got the assist for Aubameyang second, but he played really well defensively and also moving the ball forward. And I think going into a 3 in the middle, I think that might suit him very well. Now the midfield 2, and the ones you really want me to say. You really want me to say Thomas Partey will start for Arsenal. Now I don't know. I don't know if Thomas Partey will start for Arsenal. Having not been here that long, he may start on the bench, but I want a party. I want a party on Saturday, so I'm going to go with Thomas Partey to start in the middle of our midfield with Dani Ceballos next to him and Xhaka on the bench. But listen, that's what I want. That's what I hope. Arteta will go for, just because I want to see him, really. It might not be the best thing, you know. It may be that it's best for Xhaka and Sabas to play in the middle. But I want to go with what I want in it. I want to see him in there. So I'm going to go with Partey and Sabas in the middle. And listen, I do think the formation going forward will be a 4-3-3. I do think that will be the long-term aim of Arteta. But at the moment, just whilst we are in transition and are moving through the process, haven't had time to work on it yet, I think he will start with a 3-4-3. And yeah, I mean, we might even see an El and any Xhaka partnership again in the middle, just to be a bit more solid. But yeah, I would go for Partey and Ceballos. So yeah, and then the front three, I would go for. I'm going to go for Willian, Lacazette and Aubameyang. I want to go for Pepe. I do. I feel like he deserves a chance after the way he's been playing in the last game that we had against Sheffield United. Came off the bench and was brilliant. Willian hasn't been himself, hasn't been as good probably since the first game of the season against Fulham. But I just feel with the work rate of Willian, he may just want to stick to that three in the middle. But I won't be surprised maybe next week, in the next Premier League game, we go with Pepe. But of course, we've got Europa League back this week as well. So there'll be changes made in that game as well. So we'll see what happens to that. But yeah, I'm going to go with Willian, Lacazette and Aubameyang to start in that game against Man City. And here's a prediction, and here comes Ramsey versus Arsenal. So far, we've been equal, apart from a couple of goals either side. Heart or head? Heart or head? In the podcast, I said that. In the podcast, if you lot go back and watch it, I did say that if Sterling, Aguero, Jesus, and De Bruyne don't play, I think we'll be favourites. However, I think Sterling will play. And I feel like it will be a bit of a level playing field out there. We may win it, we may lose it. But I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for 1-1 at the Etihad. I feel like Man City are going to be a lot more reserved without De Bruyne. And I think we will definitely be reserved even though they ain't got De Bruyne. But of course, we've got the quality on the counter-attack as well. So I'm hoping that we get the win. And do you know what? If we don't win, I think I will be disappointed. That if we don't win. I'm predicting the draw. I'm predicting the 1-1. But I obviously really want us to win. You know, I love the club. But this is our opportunity. This is our chance to really prove to everyone that we're here and we're ready to challenge for things this season. So, yeah, man. I just hope we can get the party started this weekend. Guys, thanks for watching the video. And I'll see you soon. Come on, the Arsenal. We're ready to party.